Welcome to session 5 of the Archetypical Mind Study Group. Today we are talking about the experience of the mind or the emperor. We're going to start with the prayer of light.
Love before me, love behind me, love at my left, love at my right, love above me, love below me, love in me, love in my surroundings, love to all, love to the universe. Peace before me, peace behind me, peace at my left, peace at my right, peace above me, peace below me, peace in me, peace in my surroundings, peace to all, peace to the universe. Light before me, light behind me, light at my left, light at my right, light above me, light below me, light in me, light in my surroundings, light to all, light to the universe.
We thank the one infinite creator for this opportunity to serve, to know ourselves, to accept ourselves, and to become creators. Let our hearts be filled with gratitude to those of Ra for bringing us the archetypes as a tool for this inner work, and those of Quo for extending our knowledge of these tools. We extend our gratitude to the channeling team at LL Research for bringing us this knowledge. We invite Quo to join us in this working. We also invite our guides, our higher selves, and the Ascended Masters to grace us with your presence and to show us what we need to know. May all beings find what they truly seek. Amen.
All right. So as usual, we are starting with a dictionary definition of experience. And experience is the fact or state of having been affected by or gained knowledge through direct observation or participation. And the second one is practical knowledge, skill, or practice derived from direct observation of or participation in events or in a particular activity.
Experience of the mind. Questioner. The fourth archetype is called the Emperor and seems to have to do with experience of other selves and the green ray energy center with respect to other selves. Is this correct? Ra, I am Ra. This is perceptive. A broad name for archetype 4 may be the experience of the mind. In the tarot, you find the name of Emperor. Again, this implies nobility, and in this case, we may see the suggestion that it is only through the catalyst which has been processed by the potentiated consciousness that experience may ensue. Thusly is the conscious mind ennobled by the use of the vast resources of the unconscious mind.
Questionnaire. The next archetype, the Empress, is the catalyst of the mind, that which acts upon the conscious mind to change it. The fourth being the Emperor, which is the experience of the mind, which is that material stored in the unconscious, which creates its continuing bias. Am I correct with those statements? Ra, I am Ra. Though far too rigid in your statements, you perceive correct relationships. There is a great deal of dynamic interrelationship in these first 4 archetypes.
Questioner. The square cage may represent the material illusion, an unmagical shape. Would Ra comment? Ra, I am Ra. The square, wherever seen, is the symbol of the third density illusion and may be seen either as unmagical or in the proper configuration as having been manifested within, that is, the material world given life.
Questionnaire. Fourth, when the catalyst of the mind is processed by the entity, the experience of the mind results. Is this correct? Ra, I am Ra. There are subtle misdirections in this simple statement having to do with the overriding qualities of the significator. It is so that catalyst yields experience. However, through free will and the faculty of imperfect memory, catalyst is most often only partially used and the experience thus correspondingly skewed. Questionnaire. The dynamic process between the matrix, potentiator, catalyst, and experience of the mind forms the nature of the mind or the significator of the mind. Is this correct? Ra, I am Ra. As our previous response suggests, the significator of the mind is both actor and acted upon. With this exception, the statement is largely correct. Questionnaire. It seems to me that the experience of the mind would act in such a way as to change the nature of the veil, so that catalyst would be filtered so as to be more acceptable in the bias that is increasingly chosen by the entity. For instance, if the entity has chosen the right-hand path, the experience of the mind would change the permeability of the veil to accept more and more positive catalyst. And also the other would be true for accepting more negative if the left-hand path were the one that was repeatedly chosen. Is this correct? Ra, I am Ra. This is not only correct, but there is a further ramification. As the entity increases in experience, it shall more and more choose positive interpretations of catalyst if it is upon the service to others path, and negative interpretations of catalyst if its experience has been along the service to self path.
Questioner. Then the mechanism designed by the logos of the action of catalyst resulting in experience was planned to be self-accelerating in that it would create this process of, shall I say, variable permeability that was of the function of the chosen path. Is this an adequate statement? Ra, I am Ra. There is no variable permeability involved in the concepts we have just discussed. Except for this, you are quite correct.
Questionnaire. In the fourth archetype, the card shows a male whose body faces forward. I assume this indicates that the experience of the mind will reach for catalyst. However, the face is to the left, indicating to me that in reaching for catalyst, negative catalyst will be more apparent in its power and effect than the positive. Would Ra comment on this? Ra, I am Ra. The archetype of experience of the mind reaches not, O student, but with firm authority grasps what it is given. The remainder of your remarks are perceptive.
Questioner. Experience is seated on the square of the material illusion, which is colored much darker than in card number 3. However, there is a cat inside this. I am guessing that as experience is gained, the second density nature of the illusion is understood and the negative and positive aspects are separated. Would Ra comment on this? Ra, I am Ra. This interpretation varies markedly from Ra's intention. We direct the attention to the cultural meaning of the great cat, which guards. What, O student, does it guard? And with what oriflamme does it lighten that darkness of manifestation? The polarities are indeed present, the separation non-existent, except through the sifting which is the result of cumulative experience. Other impressions were intended by this configuration of the seated image with its milk-white leg and its pointed foot. Oriflamme, inspiring principle, ideal or symbol, banner carried in medieval times.
Questionnaire. In card 3, the feet of the female entity are upon the unstable platform, signifying dual polarity by its color. In card 4, one foot, pointed, indicates that if the male entity stands on the toe, it would be carefully balanced. The other foot is pointed to the left. Would Ra comment on my observation that if the entity stands on this foot, it will be very, very carefully balanced? Ra, I'm Ra. This is an important perception, for it is a key to not only this concept complex, but to others as well. You may see the T-square, which at times riven, as is 1 foot from the secure fundament by the nature of experience, yet still by this same nature of experience is carefully, precisely, and architecturally placed in the foundation of this concept complex, and indeed, in the archetypical mind complex. Experience has the nature of more effectively and poignantly expressing the architecture of experience, both the fragility of structure and the surety of structure.
Questioner. The magical shape is on the right edge of the card, indicating to me that the spiritual significance is on the right edge of the card. Indicating to me that the spiritual experience would be the right-hand path. Could Ra comment on that? I am Ra, yes. The figure is expressing the nature of experience by having its attention caught by what may be termed the left-hand catalyst. Meanwhile, the power, the magic is available upon the right-hand path. The nature of experience is such that the attention shall be constantly given varieties of experience. Those that are presumed to be of negative or interpreted as negative may seem in abundance. It is a great challenge to take catalyst and devise the magical positive experience. That which is magical in the negative experience is much longer coming, shall we say, in the third density.
Questionnaire. Now, both the third and fourth archetypes, as I see it, work together for the sole purpose of creating the polarity in the most efficient manner possible. Is this correct? Ra, I'm Ra. This cannot be said to be incorrect. We suggest contemplation of this thought complex.
Questioner, thank you. Then we're expecting in card number 4 to see the result of catalytic action and therefore a greater definition of the dark and the light areas. In this card, we notice that it is more definitely darkly colored in some areas and more white in others in a general sense than card number 3, indicating to me that the separation along the two biases has occurred and should occur to follow the blueprint for experience. Could Ra comment on that? Ra, I am Ra, you are perceptive, O student.
Questionnaire. Then I'm guessing that the crossed legs of the entity in card 4 have a meaning similar to the cross of the crux on Ansara. Is this correct? Ra, I am Ra. This is correct. The cross formed by the living limbs of the image signifies that which is the nature of mind, body, spirit complexes in manifestation within your illusion. There is no experience which is not purchased by effort of some kind, no act of service to self or others which does not bear a price to the entity manifesting commensurate with its purity. All things in manifestation may be seen in one way or another to be offering themselves in order that transformation may take place upon the level appropriate to the action.
In card 4, in the last session, we spoke of the shape of the skirt, and it has occurred to us that the skirt of the entity representing the archetype of experience is extended to the left to indicate that other selves would not be able to get close to this entity if it had chosen the left-hand path. There would be a greater separation between it and other selves, whereas if it had chosen the right-hand path, there would be much less of a separation. Would Ra comment on that observation? Ra, I am Ra. The student is perceptive.
Questionnaire. And it seems that the square upon which the entity sits, which is almost totally black, is a representation of the material illusion, and the white cat is guarding the right-hand path, which is now separated in experience from the left. Would Ra comment on that observation? Ra, I am Ra. O student, your sight almost sees that which was intended. However, the polarities need no guardians. What then, O student, needs the guard?
What I meant to say was that this entity is guarded along the right-hand path once it is chosen from effects of the material illusion that are of a negative polarity. Would Ra comment on that? Ra, I am Ra. This is an accurate perception of our intent, O student. We may note that the great cat guards in direct proportion to the purity of the manifestations of intention and the purity of inner work done along this path.
From that statement, I interpret the following meaning, that if the experience of the mind has sufficiently chosen the right-hand path, as total purity is approached in choosing of the right-hand path, then total imperviousness from the effect of the left-hand catalyst is also approached. Is this correct? Ra, I am Ra. This is exquisitely perceptive. The seeker, which has purely chosen the service to others path, shall certainly not have a variant apparent incarnational experience. There is no outward shelter in your illusion from the gusts, flurries, and blizzards of quick and cruel catalyst. However, to the pure, all that is encountered speaks of the love and the light of the one infinite creator. The cruelest blow is seen with an ambience of challenges offered and opportunities to come. Thusly, the great pitch of light is held high above such an one, so that all interpretation may be seen to be protected by light.
Questioner, am I to understand then that there is no protection at all if the experience of the mind has become negative and the negative path is traveled? All random catalysts may affect the negatively polarized individual as a function of the statistical nature of the random catalyst. Is this correct? I am Ra, this is correct. You may note some of those of your peoples which at this space-time nexus seek places of survival. This is due to the lack of protection when service to self is invoked.
Okay, so I went on LL Research website and looked for quotes about the emperor or experience of the mind, and I only found two that were relevant. This one is by L. Lima from, I think, 1985, which is one of the earlier Confederation entities that were channeled. So Carla is asking, when people do something like find something negative within something which does not seem to others as to be negative, what is occurring within that person? El Lima. I am El Lima. My sister, each who pursues the path of the seeker, whether this path is pursued consciously or unconsciously, will construct a point from which to view the life as it is lived. This is the viewpoint, the conglomeration of beliefs and knowledge which one has gained by whatever means, and which forms a lens, as you may call it. Through this lens, all that the entity comes in contact with must move in order for the entity to perceive it and to know that it exists and to know one or another characteristic about anything.
Thus, the point of viewing may be seen to be constructed of the experience of the mind, and the lens which is this construction has the various distortions of personal opinion or experience or expectation, which in some way allows and refuses to allow the light or essence of the experience to pass through. Any experience will be seen according to the personal point of view. Each entity, being a unique portion of the one creator, contains the ability to view all experience in a unique fashion. Not only is it unique, but it is changing as the entity gains in experience.
For as this instrument was recently reading in a book, the experience of consciousness within the third density plane can be likened to being in an immensely, impossibly large, darkened warehouse where the self roams only with a flashlight, shining that light of attention onto that shelf there or that doorway over there and so forth, illuminating only a portion of the experience of the mind at any one time through the spotlight of the attention, and not often successfully interpreting what is being seen, given the lack of holistic overview of that which is being taken in. This is from quote.
I want to read, I don't know if any of you are familiar with the concept guide before we start the meditation. You know, that Gary wrote, Gary Bean.
Yeah.
So there's a passage in the concept guide under the heading archetypes, where he says, the key to the archetypal mind is polarity. Designed into every facet of the archetypal mind is some invocation of polarity, particularly service to others, service to self, feminine, masculine, and conscious, unconscious polarities. But while the archetypal mind has a consistent and universal structure for each logos, it will be viewed and called upon uniquely by different individuals and different racial and planetary minds. No two seekers and no two groups will view the archetypal mind in exactly the same way. So because the experience of the mind deals a lot with polarity, I encourage you to think not just in terms of service to self and service to others, but like other forms of polarity as well when we do the meditation. You know, just whatever comes to you. Yeah, cool. Right, now relax yourselves. Take a deep breath in. Hold. Breathe out. Hold. In. Hold. Out. Hold. In again. Hold. Out again. Hold. And relax. And feel a wave of relaxation moving up your body from your feet, up your legs, knees, thighs, up through the torso, down the arms, elbows, wrists, hands, fingers, up your neck, your jaw, your ears, your face, relax your eyes, up towards the crown of your head, and then opening up your chakras from the red energy center, and open up your orange gray energy center. Open up your yellow ray energy center. Open up your green ray energy center. Open up your blue ray energy center. Open up your indigo ray energy center. And open up your violet ray energy center. And bring your attention in as deep as you can into your heart chakra, focusing on as narrow a point as possible in the middle of your green ray energy center. And moving your attention inwards as deep as you can. And then moving it inwards some more, a little bit more if you can. And rest in that space for a while. You become aware that you're in a dimly lit room by yourself. And there's a mirror in front of you. Reflecting back to you, yourself. Yourself in your mirror is holding in its left hand, your right hand, an object that represents your spiritual seeking. And it's holding it ever so lightly, almost precipitously, balancing it on the tips of the fingers. Just balancing it delicately. This object that represents your spiritual seeking. This precious thing that requires delicate handling. And then the reflection's right side, your left side, there's a pile of objects that represent the mundane obligations of daily lives. Could be a pile of laundry, bills, could be both. Just a pile of objects that represent your obligations. Feel yourself and your reflection moving closer to each other and merging to become one. You are now one. Feel the tension between the gross obligations and the objects on your left and the need to delicately balance the spiritual object on your right. And feel this tension stretching your abilities and your resources, as well as honing your integrity. And sit with it. What do these two opposing forces, when experienced together, do for you?